Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Inside the Distance podcast. I'm your host, GK, the fight analyst, and this here is my man, Aaron, the dog. What's up, man? How's it going?
Yeah, reunited. It's been so long.
It's been a long time. Moving,
you know what?
things a little hectic here.
Moving in COVID is not simple. You mean?
Yeah. It's not a good time. Not a good combination. Let me tell you.
That's great, but yeah, good to be here. I'm excited. This is a fun card. The stakes are always the same. We're always trying to make the money. But I can't believe this is a double championship pay-per-view card.
Yeah, I know, right?
I was about to say this is one of the best ESPN Plus cards I've ever seen.
It's pretty close to it.
Record scratch, you gotta pay $60 for this one. So yikes. Anyways, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Yeah, doing good. Just hectic with moving over the last week, which is why I was MIA over last week's card as well as Contender Series. But we're back. We're getting ready. I'm gonna have a brand new setup coming up in the next few weeks or so. So it's gonna be dope, and I'm very, very excited. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to this UFC 255, even though it's kind of subpar. Still money to be made, and that's what we're here for.
Some fun fights. I think so too. And I think some of these lines are doing us a little bit of a favor. I'm not sure if is my name not up. Can you put the names up or not?
I don't know what happened. Okay. I thought it was up.
Either way, they'll find out soon enough. There we go. So that might be a surprise to some people who my dog is for this week. If they know anything about me, my boy Joe Piper. But we'll talk about that fight in a moment.
Yeah. We'll get there.
Let's go ahead and hop on in. We're a little bit early today. These Bellator cards have been happening at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So it's like I'm trying to watch Baby Slice. I'm trying to watch some of these other guys. Jay Johnson. I know. Johnson, who's for some reason fighting second on the Bellator prelims.
Well, didn't they do Anna and Boric as like the second fight?
Boric was the second fight on the prelims a couple weeks ago.
I
don't know who's ordering the card or if they're just hitting kind of like the sorry dice thing where it's just like props everything up and it's like whatever. Bellator will Bellator. I mean, I know. Corey Anderson just fought Melvin Manhoof. Like that was 2020.
Yeah, I know.
I cashed that second round finish, by the way, on Corey. I just begged that he was going to play with his food for a round, and he did. Corey made me proud. Anyway,
all right, let's get right down to this card. All right, so our first fight on the prelims is in the welterweight division between Louis Kochi and Sasha Polaknikov. Right now, Kochi is a massive and one of the biggest favorites on the card at minus 470. And the comeback on Polaknikov is a plus 375 underdog. Who do you got?
Oh, so this is the opener of a UFC pay-per-view card, not the opener of the Contender Series Season 5?
I guess not. I guess so.
Whoa. Oh, okay. Let me adjust here. Sasha 5-2 versus 7-0 Louis Koski. Louis Koski before beating Victor Reina, who I think we've had enough opportunities of seeing Victor Reina. If he gets another shot in the Contender Series,
too many times. Yeah, too many times.
Yeah. But knocked out Victor Reina in a minute, so props there. Before that, here's the record of the Louis Koski guys: and 4-4, 4-8, 18-42, 0-0, 2-3, 6-4.
Mind you, that 18-42, both brothers have fought him and beat him.
Yes. But the Koski, the Lost Boys, I'm not sold on them yet. I'm not touching a minus 470 line, and I'm not even betting them inside the distance or like round one. I don't have that sort of faith, even though the guy he's facing is a 5-2 former basketball player from Hong Kong who came over to go to the University of Buffalo, didn't wrestle, didn't do anything at Buffalo, fought a guy who was 3-5 a year and a half ago, and here he is at 5-2 fighting in the UFC. I think that this is just a fight that it's probably going to follow the rule first round or decision. So I'm sure Louis Koski by decision is a nice fat price because the legend of Louis Koski is just growing, but I'm not going to bet it.
Yeah, definitely would not. No, nope. Give me 1 second. Sorry, but yeah, I'm not betting Koski at all. There's no way at all. I'm
Yeah.
betting him. But the thing is, like we say every time, it's round one or bust. So here where it lies, you can take Kashi and round one, which will give you plus 105.
Yeah.
Better than minus 475.
Sure,
I mean,
but again, we're relying
he's
on
not losing, but he's not going to lose. Okay,
but he might not win in 5 minutes.
I could see him winning in like 30 seconds.
Me too. Sure, I could too. I'm just saying, like, I just don't want to.
If we,
I don't
if
want
we
to bet
want,
this. For plus 105 even money to like.
Yeah, I know. I know. I get it. I'm just trying to give people a play on here if they want to play this.
Sometimes you just got to tell people to don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, under 1.5 rounds isn't a terrible play either. Minus 150.
I like that a lot more, frankly.
Because if you think about it, I think Palatnikov in both of his fights that he lost in round one, both by knockout. And
he lost in round two of one of them.
Okay.
Late in round two as well, but he lost in round one to Munir Lazez, who really is like known for
he's a prospect
power. He's more of a point, But
yeah,
I mean, this is just a not a fight.
I'm not taking the side here. If I had to play, I would probably take the under 1.5 rounds.
And the other thing you just got is it's 6-1 versus 5-9, so I don't know what the reach is, but I'm sure it's going to be significant for Sasha, so he might be able to frustrate him, or he might be able to just have no tall man defense against the shorter striker here. So
yeah,
that's all there is to be said here.
Yeah, pass on this fight. Don't bet it. Like I said, I like the under 1.5 rounds. That's about it. If I'm going to predict who's winning, I got Koshi winning by knockout.
That's fair. That would be my prediction as well.
All right. Next up in the middleweight division, we have a fight between Kyle Daukaus and Dustin Stoltzfus. Right now, Daukaus is a minus 320 favorite, and the comeback on Stoltzfus is a plus 260 underdog. Who do you got?
Well, I mean, you see from the name here, which I know that you were shocked when I came on with that name.
Mainly because of you hate him so much.
I do. I've been one of the biggest critics working up to his fight against Joe Pfeiffer on the Contender Series. I was all on Joe. I had him at plus 270. Joe was looking really good there and then decided to wrestle. And then I immediately was just like, oh, no. And then Stoltzfus ended up getting taken
in his head
for a second. But then, he took down the much, much bigger Pfeiffer. And slammed him right on his head and his arm, dislocated his arm. But I honestly was able to kind of what I said a few weeks ago. I'm trying to put my emotions aside when I'm betting here. And so I went to the tape. I watched a lot of both of these guys because there's a lot of tape on both of them, both amateur and their professional experience. So I watched a lot of Kyle Daukaus, and I just, even I watched his last fight against Brendan Allen. Very impressive to fight through the adversity and win that third round, especially. And just overall, Daukaus is going to want to keep this on the feet. I think if he does, and this is predominantly a kickboxing fight, then I would give it to Daukaus because he's the bigger guy. He's got probably the better power and everything. But one of the things I like about Stoltzfus and watching his fights is that he throws a lot of leg kicks. With his boxing, he's not afraid of being taken down here. So I do think of the two guys, he has the better bottom and overall grappling game, I believe. And I just think that this should be a pick'em or close to a pick'em. I think that the line is way out of line here. I think that I do see Dustin eventually having multiple UFC wins, and I frankly think he could eventually be at welterweight. So maybe we see in this fight that he could make that move sooner rather than later. But Dustin's fought at light heavyweight. He's used to being the smaller guy. I think he's going to have I think he has the better fight IQ of the two guys. And I think he has the better ability to finish, also of the two guys, and has the ability to win a decision. So I'm going to take Dustin, and I'm going to take him to get a decision, but I'm really tempted to go for the submission prop, frankly.
Man, it's I don't like the line on Dawkins. I mean, I think that's a little too absurd. It's more of a recency bias, and it's never good when you look good coming off a loss versus looking good coming off a win. So he looked good coming off a loss where he got dominated for majority of the fight on short notice. Yes, I know against a good fighter in Brendan Allen. Also, I know, but that's why it's built into this minus 310 of a line, which is kind of
I think his brother
crazy.
And I think his brother winning so much recently is built into this line. The Dawkins name is out there, and that's so irrelevant, but I think it's contributing to this. This line is just absurd.
Yeah, it's just like I know a lot of people are taking Dawkins even at this line, which is kind of crazy. But the thing is, majority of his wins are via Darce choke or rear naked choke. And if you look at Dustin, he hasn't lost via any type of choke. So
something I don't love bringing up a lot, but I think it's worth bringing up here is Dawkins was 5-5 as an amateur, submitted in 4 of those 5 losses, in different submissions too. Stolfus has had a twister finish. He's had anaconda finishes. This guy is a legit world-class grappler. He split time between Germany and Pennsylvania. I mean, he's good. He's really good, and I think this is a worthy dog at a worthy price without any props, period. But I mean, that's where I see this. And I think Dustin has a really good future in the UFC, actually.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to take Dawkins as his line. Do I think he wins? I do think so, but not enough to lay on minus 310 price. That's kind of crazy. I do think he's a better striker of the two. And I do think Dustin's going to have to take him down to get a win here. So it's definitely gonna be a lot closer than this line suggests. So this is a place where you can get value on Dustin here, but I'm choosing Kyle Dawkins to win, but I'm definitely not going to the bank and
the Aaron name change is 6-1 for anybody who's keeping track at home.
I don't think anybody is, but at least you are.
Yeah, well, hopefully someone is. Jamin, I bet, is keeping track.
Oh, man. All right. Moving on. In the welterweight division, we have a fight between Alan Jouban and Jared Gooden. Right now, Alan Jouban is a minus 150 favorite, and to come back on Gooden is a plus 130 underdog. Who do you got?
This one's tough.
Very tough.
This is Alan Jouban has been one of my favorite guys his entire UFC career. I even liked him back in LFA against, I think it was John Legary Jr. I think was the fight that first got him on my radar. But he's got at least one foot, if not both feet, out the door. He's ready to be a commentator. He hasn't fought in over a year. When he did fight against Gooden, he was not pulling the trigger at all. I know that was somewhat of a robbery in my opinion, but he kind of lost it himself there too by not pulling the trigger. He has chin issues. He's really he hasn't had, I mean, his last win was Ben Saunders. Other than that, he's 3 of his last 4 he's lost. He's had a lot of injuries here. Gooden is a massive welterweight. He's fought at middleweight for the most part. I get it, the Bruno Oliveira fight is there, but that's a huge 205er that came down to middleweight, and he just had a bad fight. I just think that this fight's really close, so I get the line. I wanna go with Jouban, But I do think that even though Gooden doesn't have super heavy strikes, I do think he can potentially rock him and get control and kind of control him against the fence, get him down, grind him out for a decision. I'm gonna go with Gooden. So this is one way I'm like, oh, Joban's getting a win, yes, but it's one I can't pick a 38-year-old Joban, especially coming off that last performance of Dwight Grant and not wanting to get right in there. That kind of tells me he's like, let me go take this modeling shoot. Let me do my Karen O'Brien podcast. Let me it feels like Joe Duffy against Joel Alvarez syndrome again. So I'm going to take the hungry 26-year-old massive welterweight who my only worry is how he's going to look on the scales.
What do you mean by massive though?
Like he's thick. He's a thick boy. He's a thick boy. He's fought at middleweight for the most part. If you follow him on Instagram, which I do, he's already in the sauna cutting weight to get to the. So this is a week-long weight cut. So we got to see how he looks like going into the weigh-ins. The weigh-ins may really force me to change it here. Right now, I got Gooden by decision.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna lean towards Gooden here as well. I know he hasn't looked particularly great, especially in the Bruno Oliveira and Mike Graves losses. No. But he's still younger, fresher fighter. He's been working his way to get into the UFC. He should be in the UFC. Unfortunately, he had to pull out of his fight against Dwight Grant due to injury. That was definitely going to be a much tougher fight for him. And then, like you said, Joban's on his last legs. He's one foot out the door, and they're giving Gooden a fight where he could potentially showcase him. Mm-hmm. And you're getting a decent line on him, plus 130. I think a lot of dogs are really going to come through this weekend, and be weary taking a lot of these favorites.
26 versus 38. I mean, that is
a lot of wear and tear on Joban. He's been knocked out.
And Gooden's almost been there a few times, and I get it. He's stumbled in those occasions, but I mean, for the UFC to not have him go through the Contender Series, I think that lets you know how they feel about him as a potential fighter here, and they give him a very, very favorable debut here.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Next up, we have a fight at 170 pounds between Nicholas Dalby and Daniel Rodriguez. This is one of my favorite fights on the card. Right now, Daniel Rodriguez is a minus 330 favorite in the comeback on Nicholas Dalby is a plus 270 underdog. Who do you got?
Yeah, I'll be interested to hear kind of your thoughts. Since Dalby's last opponent just
popped for PEDs. Yep, PEDs.
So yeah, it sure looked like Jesse Ronson was on PEDs for that fight. So,
right.
I'd never seen him hit that way in my life.
Right.
And that adds up. Unfortunately, Dalby doesn't get to take away those shots.
Yeah, I know.
And the punishment that he received from an artificially enhanced Ronson,
he's trying to say that, oh no, I don't know where that came from. I didn't take anything knowingly.
Yeah, sure.
But he couldn't provide any evidence of that either, too. Yeah. So I mean,
yeah. So this is a really good fight for sure. I think it's going to be action packed.
It's going to be a great fight.
I do think that it comes down to, do you think Rodriguez is going to finish or not? In my opinion, though, so that's the only question for me. I don't see Dalby winning this fight, but maybe he really wrestles him, really grapples him, and frustrates Rodriguez, who kind of can get stuck against the fence and on his back, I think. So, but I'm going to favor Rodriguez here in his boxing, and I hope that he keeps on the feet.
Man, I am a big fan of Daniel Rodriguez, but this is a hard fight for him. Because Dalby is a game opponent. He's going to come forward. He's going to look to grapple the entire damn fight. The entire fight, he's going to look to grapple. Dan Rodriguez definitely has the power. He's got the striking on the feet, but we still have yet to see. Can he defend takedowns? Can he get up if he's taken down? We don't know. And then you have him as a minus 330 favorite just based off recency bias, and he's on a 5-fight win streak. I don't know, man. I wouldn't want to lay the juice on that, not knowing what we're gonna get from him. He came in fighting. Who was he trying to fight last week that was pulled out? Because this is a completely different fight from his last opponent. Who were you trying to fight? I forgot.
For Dalby or Rodriguez?
Rodriguez.
He was supposed to fight Barberena.
Yeah. So a brawler. He was ready to go there and straight up brawl out with Barberena. Mm-hmm. Now he's gonna reverse all of this and get into, okay, now I gotta defend takedowns. Now I gotta get into a grapple and centric, camp within a week's time to work on defending takedowns against Dalby. Dalby goes in against and fights strikers all day because he's a grappler. He's always going to fight someone that wants to strike with him. They're not going to want to grapple with him, try to take him down. So there's nothing new to him. And unfortunately, I think I'm going to take the dog here in Dalby. I don't want to go against D-Rod because he's on a nasty win streak and he's got some insane power. But I don't know, the grinding of Dalby, the veteran in him. He's got way more fights than D-Rod does. He's got way more fights against higher level competition than D-Rod does as well. He can make this a really ugly fight up against the cage, taking him down, making him work to get back to his feet, tire him out. It's going to be a grueling type of fight. And then you're getting Dalby at plus 270. I think it's worth a shot. It's worth a little bit of money, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean it's just it's tough. I mean he's had about 4 months off since 3 months off since the Ronson fight, so that should be enough time to have recovered from that. But I mean the Ross Houston fight and back in Cage Warriors, I mean he's kind of, but I mean I understand the shot here. I like the shot more with my dog of Stoltz's, but we'll see. One of our dogs is coming in.
One of them. Let's see. Yep. All right. Next up, we have a fight in the women's flyweight division between Antonina Shevchenko and Ariane Lipski. Right now, Shevchenko is a minus 160 favorite, and the comeback on Lipski is a plus 140 underdog. Who do you got?
I'm not betting either one of these fighters. I'll take Shevchenko by decision, I guess.
I want to bet this fight because I want to fade Lipski because everybody's overhyping the grappling of Lipski.
She knee-barred Luan Carolina, who was working at Starbucks earlier in the week, probably.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't know what you guys are seeing in Lipski in her grappling because she has one takedown in 4 fights, and her last takedown was over 2 years ago. She's only attempted one takedown in 4 fights, and that was 2 years ago. Yes, she got the banana split or whatever the hell knee bar you want to call it.
Whatever.
But she didn't get the takedown. They just landed on top of each other. When she tried to get her back, anybody with any type of BJJ would have taken her back and subbed her. But Carolina had no idea what the hell to do. She had her back. She legit had her back. All she had to do is scoot up and just take her neck. But
do you think any of these rounds will have more than 40 strikes landed combined on the opponents? It's just very low volume striking on both sides, low everything, just low energy. This fight is nuts.
Is it super low though?
It feels like it. It feels like Lipski throws 4 strikes per.
No, she definitely throws a lot more than that, and so does Antonina. Yeah, they throw a lot more than that. A lot more.
Do they land?
Yeah, I mean, Antonina's landing at over 4 strikes per minute, and obviously her accuracy is phenomenal at 54%. So she's throwing, 8.18 strikes per minute. And then you have Ariane Lipski, who's only landing 3.34. and she's only landing 31% of her strikes.
Well, there's the difference, unless she takes the which Lipski's not all of a sudden going to become a wrestler here.
That's what I'm trying to say. I mean, it's a clear showcase fight. Think about it. It's a showcase fight. Antonita and Valentina are on the same card. They want them both to win on the same card. They're giving Antonita a fight against a striker that has terrible defensive striking. Molly McCann lit her up on the feet, took her down. I mean, she's been outstruck in a majority of her fights. And if that Carolina fight didn't hit the mat, she was going to get outstruck in that fight as well. She's not a good striker. And then you go against Antonita, who's arguably one of the best strikers other than her sister in the division, bar none. Granted, her grappling is not good. Obviously, we've seen that. But she's still one of the best strikers in the division. She's one of the most credentialed strikers in the entire division as well. And you're giving her a kickboxer match? Minus 160. I'm taking it.
Well, we know Antonina turned down a particular grappler who's been a guest on this show.
Yeah, there's no way she wants grapple. She doesn't want that fight. Think about it. No, she's a striker. She wants a striking match. She's not going to want to go against a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt and one that's been finishing everybody, that has a UFC record for finishes. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, stay tuned because she might have a fight coming up here very soon.
Ooh-wee. I can't wait to see that. And hopefully it's a higher ranked opponent. I really want her to get her name out there more.
I don't know anything, so we'll move on to the next one.
Yeah, sure you don't. All right, moving on. Next up in the middleweight division, we have a fight between Joaquin Buckley and Jordan Wright. Right now, Buckley is a minus 245 favorite, and the comeback on Wright to plus 205 underdog. Who do you got?
This sure feels like a showcase fight.
Of course it is.
It sure feels like they want to capitalize off the Mortal Kombat kick as fast as possible.
Absolutely.
They can say that he's knocking out a undefeated guy. And
he's not
11-0.
Not undefeated. He lost.
If you watch the Contender Series, you know he's not 11-0. He got destroyed by a man who was probably high in the ring, but still, either way, this is everything the UFC could want. He knocked out an 11-0 karate ninja, Beverly Hills Ninja. Jordan Wright got that lucky cut against Ike Villanueva, who might be the only guy in the UFC worse than Jordan Wright. And I'm sorry, I can't believe this is only minus 240. I'll take it inside the distance. KO. Joaquin Buckley is wrecking this man.
Yeah, I'm with you as well. I think this is a pretty safe
part. Don't think it.
Yeah. I mean, Jordan Wright gets hit a ton. He's going to be the bigger guy, but Buckley's normally the smaller guy. But that doesn't mean anything. I mean, Jordan Wright doesn't pack a lot.
Buckley's going to be the stronger guy.
Oh yeah, he's going to be bull. He's going to come forward. He's going to beat the living shit out of Wright, and it's not going to be It's not going to be close. It's really not.
Yeah.
I got Buckley all day here. KO early.
This reasonable.
Minus 245. Some money has come in on Wright a little bit. So, but yeah, and I'm okay with that. I'll take Buckley at minus 245.
I feel like this is a very safe parlay piece to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree, because Wright's not going to go in there and try to wrestle him, so he's going to try to stay at distance and strike.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Buckley's like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
It's what he wants. So he doesn't have to do anything but go forward and lay some leather. I mean, if he can lay leather, without that crazy kick, he won the first round against Impa Kasakanai.
Correct.
And he was throwing leather. He was landing. He's going to land on Wright. He's going to land on
the same activity that he threw against Kevin Holland. Those shots are putting away.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, he was pretty precise. He's got power. And he looked good even in a loss against Kevin Holland. And he obviously looked phenomenal against Impa Kasakanai. So kudos to him, and kudos to him after he gets this win too. Man,
the UFC is so excited. This is one of the most clear showcase fights I've seen in a while.
Yeah, I mean, other than what's the game? Nicholas and Maximov going against Costa on the Contender Series, something like that.
And then he kind of failed that. So
yeah, but I mean, you can see that was a clear showcase fight. But
Yeah, well,
All
either way.
right. Next up in our prelim main events, the showcase fight on the prelims, which shouldn't be on the prelims, anyways, is a fight at 125 pounds between Brandon Moreno and Brandon Royval. Wow, two Brandons. Yeah, right now Moreno's a minus 190 favorite, and the comeback on Royval is a plus 165 underdog. Who do you got?
Whew. Man, I can't believe I'm really surprised by the line. I guess I would get Moreno being a slight favorite here, but this is such a close, good fight. It's going to just be a scramble fest everywhere it goes, whether it's on the feet, whether it's on the ground. Well, and Royval has just been a different fighter since he lost that decision to Casey Kenny. He's like, no more. I'm going in there and going for it at all times. And they're like, oh, you can't fight that way. And he keeps fighting that way. And every fight, it's working. So I'm not going against it here, man. I'm going with the hot hand. I think that Brandon Moreno kind of has gotten to where he's at a little bit with a few close, really good scrambly decisions, but I don't think he's as good as where he's at. I don't know if that's fair or not, but I
don't know. It's tough.
I get it's a tough fight. I think that Moreno, though, the things he's gonna have to rely on, I think, to win this fight is be the more technical boxer and be the more composed guy in there, because Royval is not going to be that. Royval is not going to stop going, and I don't have any worries about his cardio either. Moreno, I don't really either. I think this is a really good fight. I think it's close. I'll take the dog. I'm going to take Royval. He's on fire lately. And I just think that he could even get a finish. It's going to be hard for me to bet a finish here, but it's going to, he's a wild man. And it's working, and it's kind of crazy. So we'll see. But I do think Moreno is well within his range of skills that he can win this fight.
Oh, he definitely can win this fight, but I don't know. It's hard. I think it's hard for me to go against Brandon Moreno. He beat Juside Formiga in the realm that he's good at, in the grappling. He out-grappled Formiga, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt.
Yep.
He then outstruck Kai Kara-France, which, mind you, I know Brendan Royval outstruck Kai Kara-France as well, but Royval got clipped and dropped, and if he didn't land that ridiculous out of nowhere spinning back elbow, he would have gotten finished in that fight, period. So yes, he's super opportunistic. He's crazy out there. He's got so many different ways that he can win the fights, but I think Brandon Moreno is just a little bit better everywhere. When it comes to striking defense, he's way better. The scrambles, he's better. The grappling, he's better. He out-grappled Askarov as well. In a fight that he probably should have gotten the W. I'm pretty sure he should have won 2 of the 3 rounds, but they can't give him a draw. But yeah, I think I have to side with Brandon Moreno here. I think he's on fire. I think he's on fire, man. I
know Royval's on fire.
Yeah, but you also have to think about it that Moreno was never anywhere close to ever getting finished in any of his UFC fights. Whereas Brandon Royval almost got finished by Kai Kara-France, who Moreno soundly outstruck on the feet and beat to a bloody pulp. He beat him to a bloody pulp on the feet. And
this is going to be a great fight.
Oh, yeah, it's a fantastic fight. I don't like the line at minus 190. I think that's a little too crazy. But
maybe I'm getting tricked by a few overloaded lines here with a few of my dogs, but I don't think so. We'll see. It's such a close fight.
It is. Moreno by decision at plus 140 is not a bad stab. I think that's a pretty decent. Obviously it's not the greatest line, but I don't think any guy is going to get a finish here. I think both guys are super tough and durable. But I'm siding with Brandon Moreno here. I think he's a hotter guy. Not in that kind of sense. He's in terms of career.
No, I think Royval's hotter. I agree.
Okay, great. All right. Anyways, let's keep it moving. All right. Next up on the first fight of the main card, we have a fight at 205 pounds between Mauricio Shogun Hua and Paul Craig. Numero dos. All right. Paul Craig's a minus 170 favorite, and the comeback on Shogun is a plus 150 underdog. What do you got?
The rematch no one asked for.
Nope. Not a single person.
All right. So Mauricio Shogun Hua, he's 38. He's made of dust. We need to have him fight somebody. Oh man, that Paul Craig fight was really close. Let's have them run it back.
Do you know that Shogun has won? I think he's 5-1 in rematches. The only person that he's lost to in a rematch is Henderson.
That's a great stat because I do think that Paul Craig is going to join Henderson in that category as the second man to beat Shogun in a rematch.
I mean, it's possible. It's definitely possible.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping it's Craig first round, just like he drops him and puts him in a mounted triangle or something and just gets out of there. But I'll take Craig, I guess. I'm not wild about betting Paul Craig at the minus 170.
I would never, ever.
This is where we're at.
I don't care who Paul Craig is fighting. I will never, ever in my entire life put my hard-earned money on Paul Craig to win a fight ever in my entire life. Just don't do it.
At minus 170.
It's definitely at minus 170. Just don't do it. I don't care if he wins. Just don't do it. You're just gonna be like, you're gonna be watching that and you're like, why did I do this?
My pick is Craig, and I'm sadly gonna pick Craig by KO.
I don't even know. I'll take Paul Craig to win, but it's
what's Paul Craig by KO? What's the prop price for that?
It better be like plus 300. Some crazy shit. Let me see.
Give me 6. Give me 6.
Yep, 625.
Yay! Let's go. We'll see how the early prelim. We'll see how the prelims go.
Plus 625. That's ridiculous.
We'll see what the grease is on top of the We'll see what the fat on top of the soup. We'll see what fat there is after the prelims. If Royval comes in, you can bet your bottom dollar on putting some money on Craig KO.
Oh my god! All right,
wheel kick.
Next up in the women's flyweight division, we have a fight between Caitlin Chukagian and Cynthia Calvillo. Right now, Chukagian is a plus 230 underdog, and the comeback on Calvillo is a minus 270 favorite. Who do you got?
I mean, this is another one where the line is almost making me go with the dog, frankly. I mean, recency bias much here. I get Chukagian got dropped by a body shot by Andrade. The first round, however,
I called that. Hi guys, I called that.
There's our man, Jamin. I was wondering where he was. Yeah, I mean, definitely this line is totally out of line for Calvillo. She's in her second fight at 125 now. But like she looked okay against Jessica I guess. But I just think that
it's Jessica I.
Jessica I who like had like some sort of like internal issue going on lately to where she had to start an OnlyFans and I like every struggling women.
Wait, did she really?
Yes, she did.
Oh god.
But so yeah, I'm no interest there either. But back to this fight, Calvillo. I mean, she's a good grappler, but like I don't know how good her wrestling really is, especially at this division.
It's really not that
dealing with the length and the striking volume of Chukagian. I think Chukagian has a real route to win this fight and win a decision pretty comfortably. I'm not going to bet it, but I'm going to take Chukagian here, actually. I do think that the performance against Andrade is not as bad as people are making it out to be. The finish obviously was embarrassing. And I do think it's a good sign that Chukagian's getting back in there quickly. And I don't know how legit Calvillo is at 125.
Yeah, I don't know why this line is the way it is.
Because of the finish by on Chukagian.
Yeah, but it's a completely different fight.
Calvillo's going to do that.
Calvillo is not the same fighter. She doesn't finish anybody by strikes. Not a single person does she finish by strikes. And who? Wait, I'm just trying to figure out who has taken down Chukagian and kept her there on the mat.
Well, she pulled guard against Shevchenko,
but who she kept on the mat? And like no one has kept Chukagian on her back.
Right.
Andrade took her down, got right back up.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing's gonna happen here if she gets taken down. If she gets taken down, and mind you, she probably is going to be the most difficult to keep down, and she's going to be the most difficult to sub as well because she's very good off her back. She showed that numerous times in her career, so she's going to be dangerous off her back. So Calvillo is going to have to she's going to have to do something to avoid the guard because the guard of Chukagian is actually really, really good. And plus, on top of it, she's by far the biggest fighter that Calvillo has ever faced in her entire career. Bar none, not even close. She's 5 inches taller, 4-inch reach advantage. She's a +240 underdog? 230 underdog?
Yeah, Calvillo had to withdraw from her last fight due to COVID, which was she had COVID over, about 3 to 4 weeks ago still. So, I mean, as some people out there who've had COVID know now, more and more people are starting to know it's no joke.
Yeah.
So that's coming into account on a -270 favorite here. I'm not sure if I'm going to pull the trigger on Chukagian or not, just because I'm not even going to enjoy that betting on Chukagian. Like that.
I dislike. But the thing is, if it keeps on the feet, if she keeps this fight on the feet, it's her fight to win. Period. Yeah. It's her fight to lose. Like she's not losing a striking battle against Calvillo. Just because her fighting style, Chukagian's fighting style on the feet is she just wins over judges just primarily on,
Several of these dogs are coming in, and I think this is a worthy one.
But here's how you bet Chukagian. You bet her by decision at +300 and 300.
Right. Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Yes.
So now you're getting even 70 cents more to the dollar, and it's +300 by a decision. I'm taking that all day. There's no reason not to bet that. I think that's win or lose. That's a must bet because
maybe I'll just have a prop chain through the main card after my Paul Craig KO prop comes in. I'll throw that onto Chukagian decision. I got my greasy parlays just forming in my head already.
Oh man, it's gonna be super greasy, super greasy. It'll be so greasy it'll make your stomach hurt.
Yeah, like those two alone right there. KO, Chukagian decision, Craig KO. Right there is
that's easy.
Yep.
All right. Next up in the welterweight division, we have a fight between Mike Perry and Tim Means. Right now, Perry's a -155 favorite, and come back on Tim Means is a +135 underdog. Who do you got?
Am I crazy here that I'm just all the way in on Mike Perry?
No, I can't seem to figure out why people are betting on Tim Means to begin with.
I can't for the life. Mike Perry and Joaquin Buckley right there. That's an automatic double. That's automatic double to me.
But people are saying how he hasn't had a knockout since 2017 and blah, blah, blah. And Tim Means is better everywhere.
That's not. Yeah, no, I don't see it that way at all. And I mean, I saw a lot in against even Gall in his last fight when he was out grappling Gall completely. He showed a lot. Perry's a lot better there than people are going to give him credit for. He's winning this fight. I'm very confident in it, and I feel it's a very comfortable parlay piece.
Yeah, I
think he finishes him too. I think it's his first finish since 2017. Also,
yeah.
I think he could grab and pound him pretty easily.
I'm gonna go with Mike Perry too. I don't see why. I can't see why people are taking Tim Means, to be honest with you. I mean, yes, he's good. He's got a chin for the most part, but I mean, he's taking this fight on short notice to come in and brawl. With someone like Mike Perry, it's not gonna be fun for him. It's not gonna be a fun time. And I think we're getting a good line, -155. I think that's a really decent price to pay on him as well.
Yep. Yeah, I feel. I mean, I'm going to put a pretty decent wager on the Buckley the Buckley and Perry double. Like that to me is just automatic.
Yeah, and plus money too, so it's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. Next up in our first title fight on the night, we have a fight for the women's flyweight championship of the world between Valentina Shevchenko and Jennifer Maia. Right now, Shevchenko is one of the biggest favorites you will ever see on any UFC card at minus 1,450. And the comeback on Jennifer Maia is a plus 950 underdog. Do I dare to say who do you got?
Yeah, I decided to put Stolpa's dog, but my real dog is Jennifer Maia. No. What's Valentina inside the distance? Is it like minus 175?
I would assume it should be minus 750, but
Yeah. What is it?
Minus 175, yeah.
That's your play. Valentina inside the distance. If you're gonna bet this, that's your play. You want to take a shot at like a second or third round, whatever. But I just think minus one. That's Valentina inside the distance. I feel like that is what you do.
That is what you do.
Like if you want to parlay it too, like I hate to put a prop parlay in, but that seems like the prop parlay as well. I can't decide if she's gonna sub her or KO her.
She's been finished twice in her career. It hasn't been finished in 6 years, Jennifer Maia, but then again, she hasn't fought anybody like Valentina Shevchenko. So
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I guess that's the only way you can really bet on her, to be honest. So
yeah, minus 175 for Shevchenko to get a finish in 25 minutes against Jennifer Maia is a lovely price to me. Like,
yeah, I agree. But yeah, I mean, it's I don't know what to bet on this fight.
It's not the most exciting bet you're gonna make, but it's a solid double.
Under 2.5 rounds is plus 115 too. Is that that's not a bad bet.
It's not bad, but like she could really. I mean, yeah, it's when she wants to finish her.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. All right, moving on.
Yep. Sorry, that's the title fight that we're spending that much time on, but like,
yeah, I'm sorry, I don't give Maia literally. I give her a negative 50% chance of winning. That's like,
yeah, agreed.
Yeah, like she has no shot. I'm just saying, just the way it goes.
Or bring her banana peel into the ring.
Yeah, that's
in front of Valentina and duck.
Yeah, she's not losing. But anyways. Next up in our main event of the evening, a fight that I'm very, very much looking forward to for the flyweight championship of the world between Deiveson Figueiredo and Alex Perez. Figueiredo is a minus 280 favorite, and the comeback on Perez is a plus 240 underdog. Who do you got?
This is a good fight. I can really understand both sides and both arguments for both guys. I think the key for Perez is to not get in a firefight here. I just think anybody who is thinking to get in a firefight with Figueiredo is beyond an idiot and 125. So he's got to use those leg kicks over and over again, move, wrestle. I don't think even if the finish is there, take it, but really don't go seeking a finish here. Perez's path to victory is decision, in my opinion. I think, frankly, between the two of them, he has a better chance to win a decision. But the question is, can Figueiredo catch him, whether it's in a guillotine, a submission, or catch him on the feet? It's a tough call. It's a really tough call. I guess I'm going to still go with Figueiredo here. Especially that last fight against Joseph Benavidez, he looked beyond sharp. Like, I mean, he just looked so lethal and just like in a way different than anybody else in the division. But honestly, I've got to go with the champion here, but it's hard for me to bet it. So I'm not sure if I'm going to find a way to bet it. I'd love to be on Perez's side so I could feel great betting, because that plus 240 line is really, really juicy for him. And I think this should be closer.
Agreed.
Can't do it.
I've been a fan of Perez since the Contender Series. I bet him every single fight of his career. Not stopping here. I'm taking him as a dog plus 240. The way I see this going, he just has to fight smart. Stay away from his right hand. Do not get hit by that missile of a right hand. Chop at his lead leg. Don't let him push forward. You're gonna have to push him back one way or another. So while he's pushing forward, you need to chop off that lead leg because he's gonna come in. He's gonna have his hands down. He's gonna come forward, try to throw those, that jab, that right hand, just fire at him as he's coming forward. Chop off that lead leg because you can't move forward if you keep hitting that lead leg. So that's what's gonna happen, and you're gonna need to make him switch stances, get to southpaw. And I think that's what he's going to do. I think he's going to fight really smart. He comes out of a really good team in Team Oyama. Colin Oyama is a great coach, great head coach. They've been training him to get ready for this fight either way. He was getting ready for Brandon Moreno, who I would have taken over. I would have taken Perez over Moreno anyways. And also, he has a clear wrestling advantage. Figueiredo is not a good wrestler. He can't defend takedowns very well. If you remember him versus Jared Brooks, which he lost that fight, I got completely fucking robbed on that fight. Jared Brooks took him down repeatedly, dumped him on his head. The thing is, Perez is a very, very good wrestler. If he could just get his head off to the side and not get caught in the guillotine, he could take him down all day whenever he feels like. He really can, and keep him off balance. Perez is going to throw way more volume because Figueiredo is more of a 1-2 punch type fighter. Doesn't come in and throw a ton of volume. He just wants to come in and just lay the hammer down early and often. So I'm going with Perez here. I think he's got the tools to be a champion and to be a champion for a while. I know Figueiredo is super dangerous. He's got the power. He's got the jiu-jitsu, but it's all about being smart, and being smart is taking what Figueiredo gives you, and that's he leaves his head right there on the center line for you to hit him. He gives you his lead leg right there for it to hit, and he lets you take him down. Do that, and it's the path to victory here. And like I said, I'm a huge fan of Perez, so I'm really hoping he pulls through here, especially as a big underdog in the main event. And that's our breakdown for UFC 255. But before we go, my man, what's the greasy parlay for this week?
I mean, I guess I've got to. So again, reminder with Bovada, which is what I use, I have to do inside the distance. So I have to go inside the distance. Craig,
I got that inside the distance. Okay, my computer's super slow. Don't mind me. And Craig, inside the distance.
Yeah, inside the distance, Craig. We're going to go decision Chukagian.
Hold on, let me get there. Decision Chukagian. Okay.
We're gonna make this a main card parlay. Inside the distance, Perry.
Super slow. Okay, Perry inside the distance, which is only plus 125. So they're expecting a finish from Perry.
Yeah. Well, I mean that makes sense. And then, you know what? We're gonna go with Shevchenko inside the distance, which I know is only minus 175, but with the other three, that should give us about $6,000 at least.
Plus 3,695.
Okay. So, a modest 3,000.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad, everybody.
$10, 300.
Yep, $10 wins you $369.50.
And it's like, again, I'm not sure if Rua can make it 15 minutes at this point. So, and then Chukagian is only winning a decision. And then the other two, I think, are very, very sure bets.
Yeah, agree. I think it's going to hit.
Yeah, I like it. So,
all right.
It's a modest 3,000.
Modest. Just a little modest. All right. So that's what we have for you on this week's episode of the Inside the Distance podcast. Before we go, my man, Aaron, where can everybody find you?
You can find me over, first of all, here whenever, every Thursday, we're breaking down the card at some point. If it's Bellator, expect us a little bit early if we can do it. But otherwise, 8 p.m. on non-Bellator Thursdays for the most part. Aaron Jay Brooks on Twitter. And yeah, that's about it.
All right, guys. You guys know where to find me at Fight Analyst on Twitter and The Fight Analyst on Instagram and Facebook. And guys, head over to thefightanalyst.com. Get my package today. We got Bellator tonight coming up in very, very soon. I got majority of the fights on the main card, so we still got some time to get some bets in. So head over there, get my bets now. Bellator's coming up, UFC 255 this weekend, and let's make this money. We will catch you all cashing out at the ticket window. Until next time, you guys have a great day.